Hey there guys, it's Liz here, your integrative health practitioner. And if you've ever experienced changes in your energy level, in your mood, in brain fog, in acne throughout your month in accordance to your cycle, even if you're pre, peri, or postmenopausal, these things will be for you. This is the training that you want to be watching. And please, if you know anybody else, if you got any girlfriends, any family members, spouses, whatever it may be, that you know that they struggle with these fluctuations as well, please do me a favor and help to pass this training on, help to pass this message on, and either tag them in the comments for this training, send it to them in a private message, send them the link. But we need to get this out because honestly, when it comes to hormones, there is just so much garbage. There's so much myth to a lot of the things out there. And one of the myths is that PMS is normal, or that feeling like a raging bitch before or during your cycle is normal. And it's not normal. It's common, but it's not normal. And so I'm here to help you guys have a better understanding. I'm here to clear the air. I'm here to be able to give you a general overview of this topic to help you understand why are some of these symptoms happening. I want you to realize what could be going on. I want to give you guys some tangible advice that you can take away to help to be able to rebalance your body and lighten the load here, ease these issues. And, you know, when it comes to specific topics that we end up touching on, if you feel you want more detail on those topics, let me know. Put it in the comments because this can get very nitty-gritty. Hormones can be extremely complicated. And this is why a lot of times there just seems to be this cut and dry, black and white, hey, let's put you on hormonal birth control, pellets, you know, whatever it may be, or to have surgery to be able to get rid of symptoms. But it's not that cut and dry. It's not that black and white. And I want you to be able to understand what could be going on in your body and what you can do about it. So do me a favor, and if you have ever experienced these fluctuations, go ahead and put it in the comments. Let me know. Even if you commented on my poll post that I did the other day on different social media channels, do me a favor and put it in the comments and tell me, have you experienced these symptoms and which ones are they? Are you getting really wiped? Do you feel like you just break out ridiculously? Do you feel like you are just so irritable that you can't be around anybody? Put your primary symptoms below if you don't mind, and let me know when it's happening. Let me know when it's happening. Is it during your period? Is it 3 to 5 days before? Or do you feel like a whole 2 weeks before you get your period? These are issues because those different symptoms, those different lengths of time that things are happening could actually tell you different things about your body. Okay, so let's dive in. I am going to be referring to my notes as I go throughout here, so I make sure that I hit on these primary points for you guys and a concept that is so saturated. But the main reason that you're going to be experiencing these fluctuations in symptoms is something called estrogen dominance. Estrogen dominance. So without getting very nitty-gritty, you got estrogen, a hormone in your body, and you got progesterone. And so when you end up having high estrogen in correlation to your progesterone levels, we start to have a lot of these issues. And estrogen dominance can, again, be something that males can have as well. My husband experienced it as well. It's so much more common than you think. So what is causing this estrogen dominance? That is really where we need to go because there's a root cause of this. We don't just say, hey, we have high estrogen versus our progesterone levels, so let's just slap on some progesterone cream and be good. May that be necessary for some people? It could be. But that's still not addressing the root cause of why that's happening in the first place. Can there be life changes that cause low progesterone, like someone going through menopause? Absolutely. But there are still other variables that we need to be addressing and natural ways to be able to boost progesterone other than just slapping on some hormone cream or doing some type of hormone therapy, okay? If you are someone that is pre, peri, or postmenopausal, by the way, and you want me to do some type of specific video that's designated just for that topic, if I have enough interest in that, I am more than happy to do it. So put it in the comments if that's something that you would like to hear more about. And if there's enough interest, I'm more than happy to have that done for you guys. Okay, so what's the main thing that I'm going to address with somebody when we have estrogen dominance? We're going to start by looking at gut health. Because if you do not have good gut health and so many of your hormones are made in your gut, that's going to naturally cause more of an imbalance. It's going to cause more inflammation, more of a stressor. But if you aren't having regular bowel movements, for example, that can be a huge issue. You poop out estrogen, just to be very blunt. You poop out estrogen. Okay, you need to detox estrogen in your liver and in other processes within your body. And so like if you are not having regular bowel movements at least once, if not 2 or 3 times a day, you can be backed up in estrogen. I see it all the time in my clientele. So if you're not having regular bowel movements, we need to start looking at that. We may need to have more fiber in your diet. You may need to be eating more. You may not even be eating enough. There are multiple different variables that go into gut health, making sure that your gut is balanced as far as looking at the balance of bacteria. Do we have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth? Do we have candida? Do we have other underlying gut issues? That can get very detailed. Okay, so gut health is the first thing that I'm going to look at with a client. Next is nutrient deficiencies. Those of you that have been on the pill, you've already wiped out a lot of your microbiome. You've wiped out a lot of bacteria in your gut. In fact, it can be more damaging to your gut or just as damaging as antibiotics. And it wipes out a lot of your B vitamins and other essential nutrients within your body. So especially long-term birth control pill users, we're already set up to be at a disadvantage here. Okay, so addressing that post-birth control syndrome is something that I do with my clients as well. Toxins, viruses, other infections, mold, something that I've experienced, absolutely can contribute. EBV can contribute. Different types of viruses, different types of other infections out there, Lyme disease, I mean, HPV, the list goes on and on. But any stressor that you have, whether it's from gut health being really crappy, whether it's from nutrient deficiencies, whether it's from toxic load, any stressor in your body, you have to remember at that point, when your body's under stress, it's not going to prioritize sex hormones. It's not worried about you having a cycle. It's not worried about creating hormones when your body is in survival mode. And a lot of the same precursors that are used to make your hormones are used for your body's stress response and everything created on that side of the spectrum. So it's not going to prioritize the use of those precursors for sex hormones when it's trying to survive. It's in fight or flight. It's trying to keep you alive. And so you have to remember, no matter what, whether it's your gut, whether it's nutrient deficiencies, whether it's toxins, viruses, infections, whether it is physical stress that you are under, any stressor that you are undergoing is contributing to your body's stress response, and it is not going to prioritize hormones one bit. Another important thing to keep in mind is your liver health. You know, if you are not taking in enough fiber and if you are not doing functional medicine style detoxes once every, 3 to 4 months, your liver may be clogged as well. Estrogen gets clogged up in there. You're not able to metabolize a lot of these things that your body needs to get rid of. So liver health is essential. Guys, so these are just some of the main things here. Can there be other sub-conditions that are causing estrogen dominance, such as menopause, like I said? Absolutely. Can people be having a lot of these symptoms because of other labeled hormone imbalances? You can have PCOS, you can have endometriosis, you can have, like I said before, post-birth control syndrome. There are a lot of other subcategories here that can be contributing to these issues. But again, the root cause of gut, the nutrient deficiencies, toxic load, the ability to be able to detox in general, all these things are still root causes of those other labels that are put on some of those things. So then what are some of the things that you can do to help with these issues? Track your symptoms, whether you have a cycle or not. Even as a male, if you never had a cycle, clearly, track your symptoms. It's super helpful to be able to look at, especially as a practitioner, and grab that information from a client and figure out where these fluctuations happening, and you start to see correlations and associations. My favorite one is called My Calendar. It's an app that I have on my iPhone. They probably make a version for Android, but it's free. It's the most thorough one and easy to use that I've found so far. But do me a favor, ladies, if you have ever used some type of system or some app to track this stuff for yourself, put it in the comments so that other women can start to see what you use and they may find one that works better for them. But I use My Calendar and I love it. Lab testing is something I strongly consider anyone that thinks that they have hormone fluctuations, we need to be looking at, estrogen, progesterone, DHEA. You should be looking at testosterone. You should be looking at the thyroid hormones. Like, the list goes on. And depending on someone's symptoms, I may prioritize different things. But the biggest thing I want you to take away when it comes to lab testing is that blood work is not always the answer. In fact, with hormones, I hardly ever want to do just regular serum blood work. Hardly ever. Many times I want to be looking at saliva or urine metabolites. And so if this is how your current practitioner has been sampling you, testing you, by just having you go get lab work done, blood work, it doesn't necessarily mean that those numbers aren't helpful at all, but depending on other variables in your health situation and other medications you may be on and things like that, that may not be the best way to be able to test. And so I look at this on an individual basis with each client, the type of sampling technique that is the best for them. But you want to make sure you're testing at the right time of the month. You want to make sure it is accurate with your sampling technique. So the next tip I give you is to start to look at supplementing. And honestly, by doing different lab work, we can help to supplement more specifically for you. But very commonly, women need magnesium. So a good type of magnesium can be found in my preferred product guide. If you guys haven't grabbed that already, it's just a free guide. Just go ahead and put it in the comments that you want it, and I'm more than happy to send it to you. Myself or my assistant can message that to you. I have the types of magnesium in there that I like best. But doing about 150 to about 300 milligrams of magnesium all the time is super helpful. Most people are deficient in magnesium, hands down. It helps with gut health and a lot of other things, but especially the week before your period, if you're somebody that knows and has it pretty predictably, the week before your period, if you can go anywhere from like 350 to 500 or maybe even 600 milligrams of magnesium to prep your body, it can be super helpful. Okay, certain nutrients, certain vitamins, minerals, etc., we lose more of before and during our cycle, so that can be super helpful for you as well. But looking at B vitamins, looking at iron, this is the type of stuff that I look at with clients that you may want to be supplementing with. I have some of my favorites within my preferred product guide, so make sure you grab that and check that out. Another thing that I have listed here is that you need to try and stay away from NSAIDs as much as possible. So your non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs that you're going to start to try and take when you're experiencing more headaches, you have migraines, you have cramps. So many times we're taking these things to try and help alleviate the symptoms. But in the end, NSAIDs are actually going to exacerbate symptoms in the long run because they are going to mess with estrogen and progesterone levels even more. So really try not to use those. Addressing these other things at the root causal level, you'd be surprised, will be so beneficial for you. And the most powerful thing that I've saved for last is seed cycling. And I've addressed this in some of my other trainings as well. I have a free cheat sheet. If you want that, you can just put a comment, put a little note below, and I'm more than happy to again send over the link for that. But it's super simple, it's super easy. I just throw certain types of seeds at certain times of the month in my morning smoothie, and it's a great natural way to naturally balance hormones. My husband does this on a regular basis as well. And so this is where men, you absolutely can be doing seed cycling. You want to grab that cheat sheet also. So guys, these are some of the main things. I know this has been pretty dense here, but again, this is just an overview of this topic. And if you want to hear more specifically about any certain topic that you may have heard along the way, or maybe I didn't touch on at all in regards to hormones, put it in the comments. I'm more than happy to make another training for you. And feel free to set up a free breakthrough session with me as well. You can shoot me a message and I'm happy to set that up so that we can look at your specific situation and start to present some of the options to you about what your next best step should be moving forward. So if this was helpful for you, please do me a favor, like, comment, share, tag somebody in this video that you know would benefit from it. And I appreciate your support. Mwah. Love you guys. God bless.